Hello. Alright guys, so today we are going to be covering, obviously welcome to this weekend's notes. Hope you guys have a good 3-day weekend. I didn't change the picture, wanted to make sure I got this posted up as quick as I could today. So today we're going to be covering completing the square, solving by completing the square, okay? So again, so now we're looking at, it looks a little bit different, right? So we have, right now, we have this negative 45 here. It kind of changes the way our equation looks from when we solve by completing the square. So what I want to do is I want to start by moving this to the other side of the equation. In doing that, I'm going to get m squared plus 10m equals, and that's going to be 39. Okay? Now, when we do that, okay, now we want to look at completing the square on the left side. So again, the a here is 1, so our a is 1, our b is 10, okay? But we're going to ignore this c, we're going to move it to the other side. So now I'm going to have m squared plus 10m plus, now I'm going to do my b over 2 squared. So b over 2 is going to be 10 divided by 2 squared. Alright, this is 10 over 2 squared equals 39. Now, whatever because I'm adding it to this side, same idea as when we did this. I added it to this side, which means I had to add it to this side. So since I'm adding here, I also have to add that over here. So this is 10 over 2 squared. Now I'm going to simplify. So I get m squared plus 10m plus, I'm actually going to skip this part right here. Since I know this is a perfect square now, I'm going to go ahead and write it in factored form. So this is going to be m plus, I told you that when we factor, it's going to be m plus b over 2 squared. That's going to be my perfect square. So this is going to be m plus 5 squared equals 39 plus 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So this gives me m plus 5 squared equals 9 and 5 is going to be 14. Carry the 1, 3 and 2 is 5, plus the 1 is 6, 64. Alright, so now I am kind of where I want to be. Alright, I've got the left side is completely simplified, the right side is completely simplified. Now we're going to solve. Okay? Now in order to get rid of a square, I have to do the opposite. Just like when you're going to get rid of multiplication, you have to divide. So in order to get rid of a square in the exponent, I'm going to have to take the square root. Okay? So that's going to give me then m plus 5 equals. Now, here's the trick. Anytime you take a square root, it's always plus or minus. The reason why is because the square root of 64 is 8, right? Because 8 squared is 64. Well, you also have that negative 8 squared is 64 as well. So because of that, since you're taking the square root, I have to have both. So it's going to be plus or minus 8. Now the last thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to solve for m. So I'm going to subtract 5 to both sides. And I'm going to get m equals negative 5 plus or minus 8. Okay? So now let me actually finish writing this over here. Alright, so how do I read this here? Well, that's very simple. That means that m equals negative 5 plus 8, alright, which is going to be 3. And it also means that m equals negative 5 minus 8, which is going to be negative 13. Okay, so my answer then is m equals negative 13, comma 3. Or you can write m equals negative 13 or m equals 3, or however you want to do it. But this is how you solve by completing the square. Okay? Let's go ahead and let's look at equation example number 2 now. All right, so again, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start the same way. I'm going to move this to the other side. So I'm going to add 86 to both sides. This gives me 10b squared plus 20b equals 80. All right, now my a is 10 right now, my b is going to be 20. All right, that's going to change though. So now I'm going to go ahead, and this is kind of where we factored out the 10 before to complete the square. Now I'm going to divide this, everything, by 10. All right, which is going to give me b squared plus 2b equals 8. Now I'm going to look at completing this square. All right, so I'm going to do b squared plus 2b plus half of b squared. And remember, I added it to the left, which means I have to add it to the right. And this is 2 over 2 squared. So I'm going to factor the left side now, which is going to be b plus, and remember it's 2 over 2 here, so 2 over 2 is 1 squared, equals 8 plus 1 squared is 1. This gives me b plus 1 squared equals 9. Okay, so now I'm simplified on the left, I'm completely simplified on the right. Now I'm going to solve. So in order to get rid of the square, I have to take the square root. I'm going to get b plus 1 equals plus or minus, the square root of 9 is 3. And now I'm going to solve for b, so I'm going to subtract 1 to both sides. And I get b equals -1 plus or minus 3, which means that b equals -1 plus 3, or b equals -1 minus 3, which means you're going to get b equals 2, comma, -4. And there's my answer. Okay? So it's slightly different than when you did it's slightly different than when we did just completing the square, because now we're having to take into consideration a few other things. But this isn't really all that difficult. Just a few minor things to remember. And we'll actually go over some of the square root stuff on Tuesday in class, okay? I hope you guys have a great 3-day weekend. Get this done. Go ahead and finish up the graphing quadratic stuff if you didn't turn it in. And I forgot to give you your homework, so it'll be a little bit more work in class on Tuesday than normal. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.